Hi, welcome to day 8. It's a little bit late for me to post this because I should have done it yesterday, but that's life. I guess I'll do two tomorrow to catch up. Um, Today, I want to talk about SDGs and ESGs, and it's really a case of transform or be transformed. And when I think about the responsibilities that are put on business from a board point of view, it's really important that we embed the environmental and social strategies into our governance models and to make sure that we're acting both with integrity and that we're making a financially sustained business that can live longer than now, to not be shortchanging the future for some benefits today, but to really build something that can last and be sustainable. And when I mean sustainable, it can be everything from the materials that we choose and use to how they're sourced, to how we treat people, to how we operate within the world and create really a fair and just business where we're creating real value and not robbing the future for today. And um, I think that it's really imperative that we're able to ensure climate stability so that we can live and to work to preserve and restore the environment's quality in air, land, and sea. It's important for me that the air that I breathe and the air that others breathe is clean, that the land is usable to produce food and to support life and to support animals, and that the sea is also able to support sea life. Because without that physical stability, none of the business we do matters so much. Um, and it won't last over time. Even now, we're seeing impacts that we've made that are killing us in some ways and have been over a century, where the Industrial Revolution put a lot of different byproducts into the land, and we found out over time that those are actually poisonous and not good for us, and that we need to be more careful when we introduce those kind of materials. And I think that going forward, because tomorrow is the last of part one, the last of kind of this framing of how we're going to talk about the problem, that we make sure that we keep in mind some of the sustainable development goals and the fact that ESGs and sustainable development goals, while they're not perfect, they're a start, and it's better to measure something than to measure nothing, because if you measure nothing, you're not necessarily making progress. So I think that this is a background criteria that we need to have as we go into part two, where we're going to look at the shape of the industry today and talk to industry experts that are kind of leading in their field or developing their companies further in that field, and seeing how they see the landscape today and what might be done better. So I want to keep in mind that in order for us to have a sustainable industry, we're going to have to be able to have gender equality. We're going to have to be able to have diverse viewpoints, as we talked about before, that are included in the discussion. And we're going to, from the ocean industries, work to create, towards goal 7, affordable and clean energy. We're going to work to create human-centered working environments, and those human-centered working environments should provide decent work and economic growth. And then we're looking at industry innovation and infrastructure, because in order for the ocean industry to function as an industry, it needs to have infrastructure and innovation. And those infrastructure investments are not cheap, and that's something that's being talked about a lot with the fuel transition and what fuel do we pick and what do we invest in, and that infrastructure can take 20, 30 years to build and get permitted. And even then, to build at that kind of scale, it's just incredible to think about the amount of change that needs to happen there. And then goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. We should be using the oceans and the internal waterways more. And we're going to talk to some people that are all about sustainable cities and using inland waterways to move material from trucking to more sustainable transport. And then responsible consumption and production, how we are extracting things from the ocean, how we're producing things in agriculture. Then climate action to make sure that we're not emitting gases that may warm us. And then life on land to make sure that we're not polluting the land. And then partnership, which is what this is really all about, is getting us as an industry to work together towards these kind of changes and these kind of big challenges. So that's what I wanted to talk about on the ESGs and SDGs in some ways. And I will talk to you all tomorrow again. Talk soon.